must certainly salute Comrade Yaba for those very bold, courageous, inspiring remarks at the Labor Day celebration, and he did it right in front of the president. That's the kind of speaking truth to authority that we have been waiting for many, many years. And I join millions of Ghanaians in saluting, commending, and celebrating the leader of organized labor for those very poignant and really forthright words.
He was actually applauded when he said that.
Yes, I mean, there was groundswell of support, and few minutes after that, everybody took a clip of what he said, and it went viral. I mean, I received it from all over Ghanaians abroad. I was surprised, even people in the diplomatic community. Everybody was circulating it. It just tells you how that message resonated with everybody. Look, I have here the contract that was presented to us in Parliament. $383.4 million without several exclusions is the cost of this project. We have done the analysis. If you add all these exclusions, the professional fees, the extension time claims, the finance charges of paid amounts, the standing time claims to main contract, abortive and rework costs, the museum displays and fit out. Many people don't know that the figures out there. You have here in the contract, the museum displays and the fit outs have been excluded. If you add all of that together with the cost of compensation, remember that some of the victims of the demolished properties are in court, demanding judgment debt. The Chief Justice wants to replace the Judicial Training Institute. There are several facilities that have not been replaced, like the Malian ambassador's residence that was demolished. The analysis we have done is that it will cost us, when all of this is said and done, about $1 billion. And put that figure in context. Take, for example, the Pond project, one of my favorite projects, which cost us $240 million. It provides 40 million gallons of water to 700,000 Ghanaians on a daily basis. So when we hear people like Yaba, they are looking at the opportunity cost, the comparative analysis, what could have been done. We celebrate UGMC, our first quaternary hospital. It was just $217 million. That's just about a quarter of what we are going to spend, I mean, potentially, if this project is to continue. Terminal 3 was just about $220 million. Look, there are very few projects in our entire history that have cost this much. So we are talking about the biggest investment. When I hear...
He also mentions the potential of what we can get from that.
When I hear Dr. Polopoku mention, again, I say that the conceptualization is flawed. If we are looking at wealth generation, I would rather go for our history, see the impact the year of return is making. I mean, I was just speaking at Harvard a few weeks ago, and everybody was talking about the impact of the year of return. And it's one of the things I've commended the president for, that renewed spirit. You know, there has been panafest and all of that, but let's face it, the year of return rebranding has been one of the positives of President Akufo-Addo. You have to give him that credit. True. I would rather have said, let's leverage on that. There's more potential there. Look, this is a country that has somebody who is believed to be the greatest African to have ever lived, Kwame Nkrumah. I mean, when people come here, a lot of this, recently there was a congressional delegation. I felt quite embarrassed taking them through what we have to show of Kwame Nkrumah.
But the memorial place has been...
No, it's not. It's
no, that's now a very beautiful place.
But you see, you link it to Nkrofo, his birthplace, where people want to see. Look at the state of our forts and castles. I took my family to the Elmina Castle not too long ago, and I was not impressed. There's so much we can do. These are UNESCO heritage sites. I would rather have said, look, you can take 10% of that $1 billion and restore and invest in these forts and castles, the icons we have, like Kwame Nkrumah, leveraging on the year of return. And I bet you we will make far more money than some of the financial projections, which really, I look at those numbers and I think that it's flawed, it's so ambitious. Look, they are now even researching on whether people really will be interested and the place of Africa in the Bible and all of that, when you have Israel to compete with, are we sure that people, are going to leave Jerusalem and come to Accra if they want to embark on a Christian pilgrimage? All those countries you mentioned, UAE, there are footprints of the Prophet Muhammad in all of those jurisdictions.
That's why I was trying to mention to him.
So there's something they are leveraging on, and I think that we have better to leverage on.
Okay, thank you. So now, let's start with you. You are the man who's been to the US. And did you leave or you came to meet the victory? The contempt proceedings against you.
Oh, yes.
That you have won.
No, I came to meet it. To meet it. And let me thank all of you, the good people of Ghana. There was tremendous support. Many people thought that...
But it's important. You are the best of legal hands in court. You don't... I've read the legal submissions of your lawyer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so you have some 10,000 cedis.
We'll donate to charity.
Oh, charity.
Yes.
This desk is... All right. Now, so tell us, you come back and you start this serialization. Now people are saying you should be giving the Journalist of the Year because you are more a journalist. And they have issues. For example, Doc mentions the fact that if you want there to be questions, and some probing, it should happen in a proper place in the House of Parliament, not the manner in which you are doing it, talking about illegal activities of the Secretariat. You are talking about some fraudulent office addresses in the US and so on. What exactly is the problem?
So let me quickly address those concerns about my modus operandi and my methodology. First of all, as a member of Parliament, your constitutional mandate really is to carry out oversight. Many people forget that, and when they say, oh, he's acting like a journalist, I get the impression that they haven't really averted their mind. Because, you see, the whole principle of checks and balances, this Montesquieu doctrine, is to allow for members of Parliament, one arm, to be checking the other, so that, as Lord Acton said, absolute power will corrupt and will corrupt absolutely. So there always has to be countervailing forces, and that is why we have members of Parliament. So I'm simply carrying out my mandate, and it is not trying to... The last time I heard one of the Deputy Ministers of Information say that I appear to want to become a movie star and I'm on a popularity contest and all of that. Not at all. You're only doing your work. And you see, you must recognize that we are in a new age. Previously, you have members of Parliament who would then probably write out a feature article in, say, the Daily Graphic, or will give it to multimedia. This time, you have social media. You can control the narrative. You can put out the evidence for everybody to see. It is also not accurate to suggest that I only have been active out of the chamber or on social media. Most of these issues I raise on social media, often I raise them in Parliament first. Check the parliamentary records. Throughout the debates, even on approval of budgets and all of that, I have raised these matters on the floor. So as we speak, there is a pending motion that I have sponsored, admitted by the Speaker, calling for a probe. We were just out of time, and so we couldn't have the debate, because after the Speaker admits, the second stage is to have the debate, then the third stage is to have the committee set up. So we are waiting for those two stages. And it's in my name. So for people, a parliamentary inquiry into these national cathedral scandals.
But I needed this small thing about, if you are doing parliamentary oversight as your job, who is funding that? We see you presidential appointment to the president's office. You have been on that. How the president has been flying, the jets. All of these things that you follow. Who is paying for it? Is it being paid for by Parliament if it's parliamentary oversight?
I really think that you have to be passionate about your job. Already we are paid by the taxpayer through Parliament. And so I take it that, look, sacrifice a little bit, use your salaries, because you are being paid. You are paid to work. So I just use my salaries, get a plane ticket, and take care of. So I don't have funding from any external, but let me clarify that. Sometimes people even want to throw in conspiracy theories that probably has he gone to align with some anti-Christian group, and are they then sponsoring him and all of that? No, not at all. Okay. I wouldn't even entertain that at all. I still maintain that, look, Christianity is a force for good in the world. That's only
in
where
the
we can get
in
salvation. And we
the
must
in the
religion.
revelations that you have been making since your return from the US over this matter, point us to 3 of what is most significant for you.
Okay, so let me reveal that I'll be doing 7 episodes. I'm only at 3. So probably get into middle of these episodes. What I put out so far, the 3 significant ones are: 1, the articles of incorporation. We had not known, it's never been disclosed to us, that apparently we have some private actors. And the way the incorporation was done, it did not...
Incorporation of a foundation.
Yes, the Ghana, the National Cathedral of Ghana and Bible Museum Foundation.
In the US.
Incorporated in the US. So we have Dr. Vernon Darko. The first time I was seeing that name associated with the National Cathedral. Then we have Eric Ochre Darko. Then we have Dr. Paul Opoku Mensah. Now, interestingly, that whole arrangement is at variance to the advice of the Attorney General. If you read the January 6, 2022 advice of the Attorney General, that arrangement, which is a private arrangement, where they are collecting funds, when you read the purpose of the incorporation, is to go around and raise funds for a national project. And I was shocked that I didn't see the ambassador. We have 2 diplomats, head of missions, the ambassador based in Washington, D.C., and the permanent rep based in New York. None of the addresses used. So that to me was really startling. Then the second major issue are the really fictitious addresses. Let me just be frank. So on the National Cathedral of Ghana website, they always have advertised, and viewers can go check it out, that they have an office in the United States of America. The address is 1090 Vermont Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C., zip code 20005. So I go to that address. I have here in my hands the complimentary card of the property manager. The property managers are Capitol Concierge. I asked them, is National Cathedral of Ghana here? They said no. Are any of their agents here? If I want to deliver a letter or just deliver some communication, they tell me that no. They took me through the entire, it's a 12-floor apartment, the entire list. And they say that, look, they are not here. And I said, what's going on here? I showed them the address, and they said, you see, when you look at the address carefully on the website, it doesn't give you a suite number or an office number. It's just the building. So they told me that clearly you can see that, the people are not being, transparent with you guys. So go back home and find out really what's going on. I left there and decided to check on the consultant to the USA. Now, on the website of the National Cathedral, a gentleman named Carrie Summers, I found out now when I obtained his full profile from official sources that he's Carrie Lee Summers. And why it is important that I pursued Carrie Lee Summers is that if you go to the breakdown of the 339 million spent so far, which has produced the world's most expensive hole, a place that looks like a Galamsey site, nothing to show, for $58.1 million of expenditure. You look at the breakdown, and Carrie Lee Summers' group, the Nehemiah Group, and BMOA have received 28.2 million Ghana cedis. It's here. They gave us this document. Dr. Poku Mensah is here. As consultancy services. That's what Parliament was told. So this colossal amount of money going to somebody in the United States of America, a member of Parliament, you don't just, accept it hook, line, and sinker. You want to do some due diligence. So I decided to pursue the address which we were given in Parliament, which is on the website of the National Cathedral, 3119A Cynic South, Springfield, Missouri. Zip code 65807. I arrive at the location, and to my shock, I don't see any Nehemiah Group. What I saw was quite a ramshackle, I must be honest, quite a rundown warehouse with the signage, the Churchill Coffee Company. That's all I saw. Churchill Coffee Company, wholesale division. There was no Nehemiah Group. Meanwhile, when you go on the National Cathedral website, there is a link with all kinds of images, glossy pictures and all of that about the Nehemiah Group. I don't see that. So this clearly raises due diligence concerns. Remember that in this country, we were once given an address for a major loan, CNTCI loan, that took us to a hairdressing salon. So we have become very wary in Parliament. You don't just accept addresses like that.
But you said you met the gentleman.
Yes. Whilst
that address.
Yes, we met him. So clearly, nobody can say that I went to the wrong address, because since I returned, even yesterday on the show, Nana Komia was asking me if I'm sure I went to the right address, and I think that it's good fortune that Carissa Mess showed up. Let me give you the third concern, so that doctor can come in. Now, the third concern is what I put out this morning. I have also obtained, and this was unknown to us, registration documents of federal operations in 2 additional states in the United States of America, Illinois and Oklahoma. They've never told us that. It's not on their website. And what is shocking is that all the claims that had been made earlier when their responses to my exposés, you remember Dr. Poku-Mensah said that, the Washington incorporation preceded the Attorney General's advice. I will agree. The Attorney General's advice came January 6, 2022. They incorporated in May of 2021 in Washington, D.C. However, after the Attorney General's advice, on the 2nd of September, they defied the Attorney General's advice and went to register in Illinois and did the same thing. This time, making Dr. Vernon Darko the president, Eric Ochidako secretary, and Dr. Poku-Mensah director. Then the Oklahoma incorporation, a copy of which I have here. By the way, you are a lawyer, I know you are particular about these things. I have certificates from the state secretaries certifying that all the documents I have obtained are true certified copies from the Secretary of Washington, D.C., the Oklahoma Secretary of State, and then the Secretary of State for Illinois. So that none of the documents I'm presenting are my own creations. You see the Oklahoma document, which was also filed on the 12th of December 2022. So several months after the Attorney General had advised that, look, this is a national project now. Things must be national. And I expected that from that period, you bring in the Board of Trustees in Ghana. They should be represented. After all, they all have churches in the United States of America. You make sure the ambassador in the U.S. is represented. All of these addresses that you are striking in Oklahoma, they use the address of the warehouse as the address for the National Cathedral. Conflicting. So it's just a mess. And one wonders why the Attorney General's advice was so violated. After January 6, 2022, in September of that year, you go to Illinois, do something at variance with that advice. Then in December of 2022, you go to Oklahoma and do something different. Let me also indicate that thanks to Oklahoma law, the Oklahoma Solicitation of Charitable Contributions Act, they were compelled to reveal how much they raised the previous year, which is $63,978. Something they have never told us. It's never accounted for us in Parliament. So all of these fundraisings going on by these private individuals receiving all of these monies, we know that this is for just Oklahoma in 2021. What has happened in Illinois? Okay. How much has been raised in Washington, D.C. and all the other states?
Yeah.